Video main text. UK English speaker. Fish under the ice. Antarctica, Ross Sea. We are close to the Italian base Marius Kelly. During the winter Titus Bay, the large bay behind the base, has become an ice plain that extends out of sight. The airplane, in the spring, brings the first researchers to the base, landing on the ice pack, the frozen surface of the Antarctic Sea. Under this ice, in the icy waters, live extraordinary organisms that you cannot find anywhere else on our planet. The underwater exploration by robot is entrusted to Romeo. Romeo's cameras are responsible for documenting the distribution and behavior of fish during periods in which the bay is covered by ice. 3 meters of sea ice separate us from the sea below. The operations center for the robot is set up inside a container. Seals take advantage of the hole in the ice to get a supply. Romeo is immersed. In the first 15 to 20 meters of depth, the bottom is bare. For here the environment is disturbed by the encompassing winter ice, compressing and killing organisms that need to be anchored to the bottom. On an unstable surface of stones, sea urchins and starfish predominate. Going down a few tens of meters, the environment is enriched with forms and colors. Various species of sponges stand out for their beauty. At 70 to 80 meters, the seabed is covered with Adamusium colbecki, a shell especially abundant in this region. The first fish, Tmethamus bonacki, is the most common species and is present in many different colors. Like bonacki, Antarctic fish are mostly benthic, living close to the bottom. It's easy to see them on large sponges, which provide points of support and observation, as well as protection. Some species have acquired pelagic habits and form large schools in the open water. These young Tmethamus nunacy move in large schools, from offshore waters to the coast. All these animals live and thrive, perfectly at ease, in freezing waters. Here the temperature is less than 1.9 degrees Celsius. A non-adapted fish could not escape, for even tiny ice crystals, transported into the body through the mouth or gills, would grow rapidly and coalesce, leading to death by freezing. Antarctic fish do not freeze because particular antifreeze molecules adhere to the crystals and prevent their growth. These chemicals lower the freezing temperature by more than 1 degree. It is the result of a long evolutionary process. 200 million years ago Antarctica was the center of the supercontinent Gondwana, and was in temperate latitudes. About 60 million years ago, the new continent separated and moved south. During the slow continental drift, generation after generation, the fish have been confronted with new conditions. Many are extinct, others have changed profoundly. First, they learned to produce antifreeze substances. The ice fish are the fish most profoundly changed, and they have even lost the ability to produce red blood cells, the cells used to carry oxygen, and therefore have the white blood instead of red. This loss, potentially fatal, has been tolerated because the Antarctic Sea is very rich in oxygen, and the amount of oxygen that reaches the icefish blood through the gills is enough to circulate without the help of red blood cells. For many species of the bay, the southern spring, which corresponds to the months of October to November, is reproduction time. It's easy to find females with their bellies swollen with eggs, as these bonacki, or these female ice fish, who are looking for a suitable place to lay their eggs. Deeper, at about 100 meters, the shells give way to a more varied backdrop. Large and small isolated granite rocks are densely covered with a multitude of species. These organisms are mostly filter feeders, and crowd upon each other on the rock footings to exploit the large amount of sediment that comes from above. Here you can find some particularly interesting things. This, for example, is a small ice fish, Pagetopsis macropterus. A parent takes care of the nest. The eggs are laid on rock surfaces, or on the bottom. The nest is defended vigorously by their parents. This is the icefish most common in the bay, Chinotrichohamatus. It is a predator with flexible eating habits. Here it is again for the first time while dipping his big head in the mud, swallowing something together with the mud, and spitting out the leftovers. Resuming the hunt. Histiotricho, vilifer, hunting behaviors are altogether different. It is an animal with extraordinary camouflage abilities, using its barbel, an eversion of the lower lip, to attract prey which are then surprised by a quick and sudden attack. An example of pycnogonid, or the sea spider, is another common inhabitant of these waters. Descending towards the 150 meters along the tracks on the muddy bottom, biodiversity decreases rapidly. The sediment tends to cover everything. The brittle stars are very well adapted to this quiet and seemingly inhospitable environment. On this background, there is a surprising abundance of small fish with a snout like a duck, Priano, Draco evansi. The ROV allows us to observe, for the first time in its environment, another tiny inhabitant of the deep sediment, Arctididraco scotsburgi. Let's return towards the surface. Following this elegant Pagetoxis, we encounter a lone Tmethamus spinelli with its characteristic color pattern. This dragonfish, motionless on the bottom, has powerful jaws, armed with sharp teeth that leave no opportunity for escape for their prey. A circle of light indicates the hole in the ice. Romeo returns to the container. We're back on the other side of the ice pack, the one we know better, a cold desert. It's hard to believe that only a layer of ice separates us from the marine environment with its exuberant life below. These fish are essential components of a unique ecosystem, which a few years ago we began to study and understand. Their very existence is testimony to how life can be diverse and flexible in its continuous interaction with the environment. The end of the main video.